So, our third major government policy after fiscal and monetary policy is called the supply side policies. Now, the first thing you should always be able to explain is what do you mean by supply side policy? I think इतना बड़ा word ही दे दिया है supply. So that has definitely that means that it has to do with changing the aggregate supply या total supply of goods and services in the economy. So we'll write that this policy focuses to make changes in the aggregate यानी total supply of goods and services in the economy. Obviously, the government has a role in it. So we could say like it is government's attempt to increase productivity and efficiency in the economy. We're not going to go into a very technical stuff as to कि free market policies क्या होती हैं, interventionist policies क्या होती हैं. You don't need to talk about that in O levels as such. But a couple of things that remember this is a long run policy. It takes time for this to have an impact. Okay. So इसके अंदर I'll just give you a few examples of it, starting from the easier ones. Privatization. Privatization is a way to encourage aggregate supply या total supply to increase. Privatization में होता क्या है? You sell state assets, especially the ones which are not performing so well. So you sell it to the private sector, and what you're hoping for is some sort of improvement because private sector works for profits and stuff. So obviously फिर उनका incentive will be to profit maximize, and so they will improve on the efficiency side. So privatization can be one of the ways to do it. Second way we could say is deregulations. Regulations are government's laws which are in place to discourage certain activities, or they want certain activities to be in place. It could be for like health and safety issues, it could be because of non-fraudulent activities or something like that. But the problem we say is that because of these regulations, the economy is not working as efficiently. In our case, we could say something like, allow new firms to enter market. Like we have Karachi Electric. Karachi Electric is the sole supplier of electricity in the market. If the government allows competition to step in, improvements might take place. Although we say कि ये एक natural monopoly है, If you bring in somebody else, it might create a bigger problem than solving. But again, until unless that happens, we cannot suggest. Okay. उसके अलावा we say, you know, something like a flexible labor market. When we did the labor, we spoke about certain imperfection in the labor market. For example, imperfections like um, trade unions aa jati hain, and then the trade union asks for higher wages, and then they put pressure on the employer, and the employer is not able to produce and manufacture efficiently. Or there is like a problem of minimum wages की वजह से demand and supply forces are saying we should be paying lower to the low skilled workers, but the minimum wages makes you pay a little higher. That's, not cost effective for businesses. So, and then you have geographical and occupational immobility that needs to be sorted. So we're saying you need to have flexible labor market. That means in order to do that, you have to reduce power of trade unions. You have to abolish means to finish minimum wages. In fact, they even say, you know what, you have to abolish these welfare benefits and stuff also. Welfare benefits. Benefits like unemployment benefits. If you're getting unemployment benefit, you might be discouraged to get work. If you don't have unemployment benefit, you have no choice but to go to work. Okay? So that could definitely be one of those. उसके अलावा we say stuff like let's have a free trade agreement. We'll talk about this in international trade, but free trade agreement doesn't mean that let's sell the good for free. Free trade agreement means that let's not impose any kind of tariffs. So reduce tariffs, barriers, and other obstacles to trade. इससे क्या होगा? इससे obviously बाहर से सस्ता प्रोडक्ट्स भी आ सकेगा. Without tariff, it could be like beneficial for cheaper imports. So definitely that would work. Then उसके अलावा other policies could be government spending in education. What will that do if the government spends on education? So we say like increased funding to school and universities. Now these public sector investments, this is to do with spending on infrastructure like roads and improving communication, improving transportation, and reduce cost. इसके साथ other policies might be to do with, they say, like about cutting taxes, uh, cutting income tax specifically. So we say the reason why you want to cut income tax is because this can encourage workers to not get discouraged. All right, not get disincentive for working more. Okay. Then some simpler ones could be like making it easier for firms to set up. Okay. Encourage entrepreneurial culture. What that means is you want people to think about making businesses and starting businesses and things like that. So, number 10, we can say vocational training is what it's called. And in this one, we're looking at some government schemes to provide new skills to those who lose jobs. So, what is the impact of aggregate supply side policies, right? Impact of supply side policies. What are the advantages? Now, obviously, we're saying the productivity is going to go up, right? Labor productivity rises. If labor productivity rises, obviously the output goes up, economic growth goes up, inflation reduces. In fact, it can even cause deflation. As a result of more output, lower prices, we say employment increases. There is a possibility of international competitiveness. And the result of this would be your exports may go up, and that will improve balance of payments.